Tiger fans, what's going on, guys? A rare midweek episode. I have not made midweek episodes consistently in probably 10 years when I used to do every single series recap video previewing the next series. That was a long time ago. So today is a treat. So you're probably wondering, you're going to see the title of this video. We have to talk about Eduardo Rodriguez and Javier Baez. So everyone knows how great Eduardo Rodriguez has been pitching since basically his second start of the season. His last 5 starts, he's looked absolutely outstanding. He's had 2 starts of the last 5 where he's gone 8 innings. The last 2 of those 5, he's also gone 7 innings, including today where he went 7 innings, gave a couple walks. No earned runs. I don't think he's given up an earned run in almost 30-something innings. So with this success and how well Eduardo Rodriguez has been pitching, has now brought up the fact that teams are going to be now interested in him, teams that are struggling pitching-wise. Like the Cardinals are struggling pitching-wise. The Yankees, their rotation is absolutely decimated. So there's teams out there that are supposed to be contenders that their starting rotations right now are lackluster. And looking ahead a couple of months, Eduardo Rodriguez could be a trade chip. Now, within the fan base, this has started to cause a stir, and I think right now people have rose-colored glasses on. So let's take a rewind back to last year. Erod started out kind of shaky, got hurt in Tampa, missed a couple of games, and then all of a sudden he was gone for months. He had that family issue where he was gone for months, just up and left the Tigers. There was a quote that actually had come out and said they didn't even know where he was. They wasn't sure what was going on, and he didn't come back till sometime August, early September, where his last few starts, he looked good. He definitely pitched passable, had a bunch of 5-6 inning starts. Over that time period, how many people in this fan base were going, man, what a horrible signing by Al Avila. Man, they need to figure out a way how to null and void his contract because he's not fulfilling it, and the Tigers don't even know what he's doing when he's going to pitch again. Man, this is a horrible signing, and this is going to be 5 years of this, and he's going to opt into his last 3 years, and then the Tigers are going to be screwed and have this guy, another Jordan Zimmerman 2.0. Now that he's had a good first month and a half of the season, and the Tigers there's rumors, and obviously there's speculation, like guys like Jim Bowden, who got to write articles to get clicks, are going to be like, well, this is a team that's not contending with a valuable pitching piece that contenders could potentially want. This could be some people that the Tigers would be interested in a potential trade for Eduardo Rodriguez. Now everyone's flipping their shit and losing their mind. Oh, how can you trade another good player that we finally have? This team has been so talent depleted, and now you're going to trade another one of our best players and get nothing for him. This team always is trying to take a step backwards. Guys, the view has been greatly skewed. The rose-colored glasses have come on a little too dark. You guys are not seeing clearly. You need to take some Windex, get a rag, and wipe them off. And I'm going to do that for you right now. Erod is 30 years old. Erod's career ERA is 4.05. And today, boys, I know in my last couple videos I've been saying I wish I had the stats in front of me. Today I did that. We're going old school, like when I used to have 2 monitors. Let's go and look at Erod's career numbers. First year as a rookie, 2015, 385 ERA. He had a whip of 1.2. Second year, 471 ERA, had a whip of almost, it was 1.299, we're going to say 1.3. Third year in the league, 419 ERA, had a whip of, again, almost 1.3. 2018, his first actually good year, first year under a 4 ERA, but only pitched 129 innings. He had a 1.26 whip. Oh, and let's look at it. But his strikeouts haven't been bad. I'll give him that. His strikeout to walk ratio, 2.26, 2.5, 3.3. And then we look at his last year in Boston, where he had a 3.81 ERA, had a whip of 1.3. His strikeouts were 9.4. He actually had a top 6 Cy Young finish that year. I don't know how. 2020, he didn't pitch because he had an illness, and not a lot of players opted in. Last year on Boston, it was 2021, he had a 4.74 ERA with a 1.389 whip. This guy This guy is not some Cy Young caliber pitcher that the Tigers need to hold on to. This guy is not someone that you're going to give another bag to. You already gave him the bag once. You gave him that 2-year opt-out clause. He's pitching out of his mind. And now he's going to, if you were to resign him, he's going to want, probably, you gave him, what, I think 5 for 80? He's going to want probably double that. He's going to want 160 for 7 more years. His last year with the Tigers, he had a 4.05 ERA in 17 starts, 91 innings pitched. 1.33 whip, and his strikeouts fell from 10.6 to 7.1. So his strikeouts have continued to fall the last 2 years. His whip is high as hell. This is not a guy that you want to extend and give more money to. You guys are missing the point. You're missing not keeping your eye on the prize. Erod is pitching good right now. There's no guarantee that in 5 more starts, Erod's going to be pitching like this. He could legitimately, now I certainly hope so, he does not, because they need him to pitch well. He's been their best pitcher. But in 5 more starts, his 1.81 ERA that he's got, it could be 4. For all you know, his next 5 starts, he could give up 7 earned runs, 3 of the 4 starts, and all of a sudden, all his trade value and everything else is gone, right out the window. And then you're stuck with him. Because you know what's going to happen? It's a lose-lose. If you don't trade him, he's opting out, you get nothing. And he continues to pitch well. Say he goes out and has a 2.7 ERA, his lowest ERA of his career, posts his best career numbers. He's going to sign at 31. He's going to want big money. He's going to want 7-8 years instead of the 5 he signed for before with no opt-outs, and you are going to have to eat the money. And you're going to be stuck with it. You're going to have to take all the injury risk, although he's been pretty healthy for his career, I'll give him that. But you have all the injury risk of a player in his 30s. You're going to have the risk of this year, if he says he has almost a 3 ERA, he has the best career year, top 10 Cy Young finisher, whatever. Then you're going to have to pay him double what you're paying him now. And then you're stuck with him. If he shits the bed, gets hurt, and does what pitchers do into their 30s where they decline, then you're screwed. You're stuck with him. Then you really have Jordan Zimmerman 2.0. Guys, you don't want the Tigers to keep him. You want him to pitch out of his mind, so the Tigers trade him. I don't know how so many people forget Justin Upton. The Tigers did the same shit with Justin Upton. They gave him a fucking opt-out clause. He balls out his last year. Anaheim pays him, a guy that was going into his 30s, and they fucking released him before his contract even ended because it was one of the worst extensions they could have did. They gave him, he never lived up close to that half a season when the Tigers made the trade and got rid of him. A perfect prime example of paying a guy on the precipice of 30, has a good year. You knew he was going to opt out. The Tigers weren't winning anything. They trade him. Someone else pays him. And then they got fucked. And that's what's going to happen to the Tigers. You do not want the Tigers to give this guy an extension at the end of this year. Because you know something? You inherit all that risk from when he's in his 30s. You inherit all the risk of some bullshit of happening like last year happened where he's just gone for 3 months for family reasons. You don't want this. Best case scenario is he balls out, pitches like this, July, you get something 3/4 of the way decent for him. And that's another thing. Guys, understand expectations for what you could get him. People are like, oh, maybe the Cardinals will give us Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker for a fucking potential rental pitcher for 2 months? What? Do you guys not understand how this works? You're going to get someone like that maybe flirts with the big leagues and is like a 4th outfielder, a 5th pitcher. You know, it's not going to be anything of super high, great value, or you might get a major league ready piece that's almost out of their contract and is about to be paid, and you get him for maybe 1 more year, and that's it. But the whole point is if the Tigers get rid of him, get something for him, if he opts out and he wants, say, 7 at 160, you're not going to give him that money. Well, you shouldn't give him that money, so you get nothing. And then, like I said, the other factor that no one's talking about is he could suck again. He could very well suck again, and then you go into July and you get nothing for him. And then you go to the end of the year and say he comes up more towards his career 4.05 ERA, where the law of his numbers say he's going to finish out. Then you're stuck with him for 3 more years. And then you're screwed because you have 3 more years of inherent risk of a guy going into his mid-30s. And it's a lose-lose. You either keep a guy that was signed by, and this is another thing. Everyone shits on Al Avila and talks about how bad of a GM he was, which he was. But everyone's begging to keep one of the free agents that he signed. Does this guy's track record of players acquired and signed not speak for himself already? And you're begging to have someone into their 30s stay on this team for 3 more years, or potentially give him an extension to have him here for 7 more years, 6 more years? Like, what the fuck? Do you have to get slapped in the face 12 times before you realize it's a dumbass idea? You want to let someone that Al Avila signed? How's this fucking Austin Meadows trade working out for us? He ain't going to be on the team till Erod's hopefully traded. How'd Jordan Zimmerman work out for us? I mean, history repeats itself, guys. And if you ignore it, you're just dumb. I ain't trying to shit on Tiger fans. I ain't trying to shit on you guys. But guys, come on. Use your head. You want Erod to absolutely pitch extremely well. So I hope he has Bob Gibson season. And they dump his ass. Get something for him. Get a jail out of free card. Let someone else get that contract. And let that be their problem for the next 7 years. Because you know something? He's pitching well right now. He's pitched good in the past. But his career numbers ain't nothing super special. For fuck's sake, Rick Porcello won a Cy Young. And he was out of the league like 3 years later. Guys, please, just use your head about this. They need to trade him. They need to get something for him. Because they're fucked either way. You either keep him because you're playing well right now and he's going to opt out and you get nothing. Or he sucks and then you're stuck with him for 3 more years. And I can already see what this is going to be. Say he sucks and they get him for 3 more years and then he gets hurt. And then the whole fan base is like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world that we didn't trade him. But Scott Harris is stupid that he didn't trade him because now we're stuck with him. This dead rotation spot for 3 more years. How could Scott Harris, a super smart GM, not trade this guy? And now he's hurt. And now we're stuck with him for 3 more years and get something for him worth the value and get out of a contract that Avila signed. And it's the same premise for Javier Baez. Every single time Javier Baez comes up to the plate and this man gets a hit, gets a home run, I mean, he goes 30 at-bats without striking out, and he's got his lowest K rate of his career right now. Oh, I'm salivating because he's going to opt out. And hopefully the Tigers trade Erod. And the Tigers dodge 2 massive bullets and let someone else have those opportunities to sign them and make the mistake. Because you know something? If Scott Harris hasn't already proved, he can do better with the money. Absolutely 100%. With how guys like Andy Ibanez has come up and played a huge role already in his short time. Zach McKinstry, who's played a huge role already in his short time. You know, acquiring Maytown and Vierling, they've had their inconsistencies, yes, but how good they've been defensively and their versatility. If this guy has not showed us already that he's able to take players that people were sleeping on. I mean, he literally acquired Zach McKinstry 2 days before the season started, and now he's one of your best hitters. That he's able to take players that people are sleeping on and give them to Hinch, and Hinch is able to put them in their lineup. Let those dudes go. Because Harris will spend the money. I have more faith in giving Harris the amount of money the Tigers will save next year with Erod and Baez's contracts off the books. I have more faith in what Harris would do with that money versus taking a risk of extending Erod, keeping him into his 30s, and having Baez opt in. No, thank you. No, thank you. So that's all I wanted to say, guys. Just take off the rose-colored glasses. Listen, he looks great now, and he smells pretty. But it's like looking at a pretty girl. You know, you see her across from the room, you're like, wow, she's gorgeous. You get her number, and, you know, things lead to another thing, and then it's your bed, and guess what? That chick farts too, just like you do, and her ass reeks. So, it may look pretty, but just remember, there's two sides to every coin, and it may look pretty, but it don't mean, she ain't farting and not smelling. So, just keep that in mind. The best thing that can happen is this man keeps pitching like a stud. We get as many wins as we can out of him, and they trade the shit out of him and let someone else sign him and let someone else deal with the risk because they get some kind of a piece for it. You literally get a piece for a guy that's going to opt out. And Javier Baez, same thing. Brother, I hope you hit 50 home runs and then you're gone because I'd rather have those guys off the team and give Scott Harris more money to do Scott Harris things versus have inherited risk for guys that Al Avila signed. That should be bright stars highlighted next to their name, signed by Al Avila when it comes to this. That should wake you guys up. That maybe it's not a good idea to have these guys long term. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Appreciate you watching, and I'll be back Sunday for This Week in Tigers Baseball. Have a good one. Go Tigers.